Going on straight to a very unfortunate piece of news that we are beginning the broadcast with, as singer and composer Bappi Lahiri has died at a Mumbai hospital. He was just 69 years of age. In fact, we're told that he passed away due to multiple health issues, and he had in fact been admitted to the hospital for over a month now, was also discharged on Monday, but we are told that his health continued to deteriorate, and on Tuesday he was in fact taken to the doctor once again, following which once he was brought to the hospital, he was diagnosed with multiple health issues and later died due to obstructive sleep apnea last night. We are getting more and more people who are joining us on the broadcast to actually talk about the legacy that Bappi Da leaves behind. Remember, he's the undisputed disco king of Bollywood, of Indian cinema, not just Bollywood. In fact, he's worked with singers across generations and genres. He has, in fact, popularized the use of synthesized disco music in Indian cinema and even sang some of his own compositions. We all know him for the disco dancer song that was picturized on Mithun Chakravarti. That's something that will always be remembered whenever we talk about Bappi Lahiri. And like we've been telling you, he comes from a very, very musical family. He, in fact, learned to play the tabla at just 3 years of age, and he was taught by his very parents. And later, he joined the film industry, composed music for various films, and this included languages that was not just Hindi but also Bengali for that matter. He's worked with so many singers, all of them joining together. Many of them have joined us on the broadcast and joined us to remember the legacy that Bappi Da leaves behind. My colleague Disha Shah joins me on the broadcast. Disha, this is a legacy that we are here celebrating also, in a sense, while we actually break this unfortunate piece of news for our viewers. This is a beautiful legacy that Bappi Lahiri leaves behind.
Well, that is right. In fact, it is a very big loss, especially that the industry has got, because he was known as a person who, as an undisputed disco king, he was the one who had introduced the disco theme in the music industry, and that is how, he went ahead and actually sang more and more songs, starting from 70s to 80s to 90s. He was the one who really was famous. Of course, he did do and give some popular songs in several films of the late 70s and 80s, like Chalte Chalte, Disco Dancer and Sharaabi. In fact, his last Bollywood song, titled Bhankas, was for
right, Disha, I'll come back to you. I'm also joined on the broadcast by Javed Ali. Javed Ali, thank you so much for joining me. Unfortunate piece of news coming in early this morning. Please share with us your memories of Bappi Da.
तो पहले मैं सुबह जब ये उठा और न्यूज़ मिला तो बहुत बड़ा झटका लगा, क्योंकि अभी हम एक झटके से उभरे भी नहीं हैं। लता दीदी को हम नहीं भुला पाए हैं, और ऊपर से ये बप्पी दा के बारे में अभी आज पता चला तो दिल को बहुत दुख हुआ है। और सच में कह रहा हूँ मैं कि एक ऐसा म्यूजिशियन बप्पी दा को कोई भी भुला नहीं सकता है, क्योंकि बप्पी दा ने इतना ग्रेट काम किया है और इतना वर्सेटाइल काम किया है बप्पी दा ने। और मैं जितनी बार भी उनको मिला हूँ, बहुत ही उन्होंने आशीर्वाद दिया है, बहुत ही दुआएं दी हैं मुझे, बहुत ही प्यार दिया है। और बप्पी दा के बारे में एक बहुत ही खास बात मैं जानता नहीं था, जो कि मुझे अभी कुछ ही दिनों पहले पता चली है, कि वो 3 साल की उम्र से उन्होंने तबला बजाना शुरू किया था। तो कितना कमाल का उनका रिदम सेंस होगा, और कितना कमाल का उनका जो था वो म्यूजिकल एक टेस्ट था। और इतने ग्रेट कॉम्पोजिशंस दिए हैं, चाहे वो शराबी हो, चाहे वो नमक हलाल हो, चाहे वो चलते चलते गाने हो, या चाहे वो आओ तुम्हें चांद पर ले जाए, और अनेकों अनगिनत। और सबसे खास बात यह है कि एक अलग ट्रेंड सेट किया था डिस्को का, जो 80s में आया था, और वो कोई नहीं लेकर आया था, बप्पी दा लेकर आए थे। और तब से एक अलग म्यूजिक का एक माहौल शुरू हो गया था। और मैं बस क्या कहूँ, मुझे बड़ा दुख है, और बस मैं दुआ करूँगा कि ईश्वर उनके परिवार को सब्र दे, और उनको उनकी रूह को सुकून पहुंचाए।
जी। जावेद जी, आपकी जो मेमोरीज हैं, आपने साथ कभी काम किया हो या उनको देखा हो किस तरह से वो म्यूजिक कंपोज करते हैं, उसके बारे में भी आपसे कुछ जानना चाहेंगे।
मैं उतना तो पुराना मतलब उतना पहले में
वी
नहीं
सीम
आया
टू हैव लॉस्ट
था।
दैट लिंक।
हेलो।
जी जी जी, प्लीज गो हेड।
मैं उतना पहले तो आया नहीं था, लेकिन लास्ट में जब मैंने शुरू किया था, आई थिंक एक अराउंड में बता रहा हूँ, 2009 या 10 की बात बता रहा हूँ, जब मैंने नया नया मैं शुरू हुआ था मेरा करियर। तो उस दरमियान बप्पी दा ने मुझे बुलाया था अपने जहाँ वो रहते थे, वहीं पे उनका स्टूडियो था, और उनके साथ में मुझे 2-3 गाने ऐसे करने का मौका मिला। लेकिन इतना मजा आया और वो इतना अप्रिशिएट करते थे एज अ आर्टिस्ट, एज अ म्यूजिशियन। अगर हम कुछ नया क्रिएशन या नया इम्प्रोवाइजेशन किसी कंपोजिशन में करते हैं तो बहुत अप्रिशिएट करते थे। और वो दिखाता है कि एक बड़े आर्टिस्ट का कितना बड़ा दिल होता है उनका। और
Right,
मैं
Javed ji, in fact, we are also joined on the broadcast by Usha Uttup, who has worked extensively with Bappi Da. Usha ji, I understand it must be a very, very disturbing piece of news to wake up to, but we'd still like you to share with us your memories of Bappi Da.
What can I say? It's been such a miserable piece of news. Absolutely devastated to hear this news about. I cannot believe that we're talking about Bappi Da in the past. It's just impossible. There's not one show for the past 40. I've been singing for 53 years, but not one show in the past 40 years at least that I can remember where my song list doesn't include his songs. There is no show without Ramba Ho and Hari Om Hari and Koi Yahan Aha Nache Nache, Nakabandi, you name it, one after the other. He was truly the disco king, and I think I'm one of the few people who has worked with him so extensively and had so many hit songs with him. I don't have big record numbers like 30, 40, 50,000 songs, but whatever I did, by the grace of God, whether it was with R.D. Burman or whether it was with him, was big hits. But his songs, Ramba Ho, and the perennial hits, and for whatever anybody else had to say, I always said, well, whatever it is, he is truly the disco king in India. There is no two ways about it. And, he was always ready to appreciate, and he was so happy to just leave the song to me while recording. Well, he never had one thing to say. He would always tell me, "Aap apne style mein gaiye. Bas ye gana hit ho jaye." Bas. That was all he was. And, his father played a big role in his life as well. And his father was such a fine composer. And it's not just Ramba Ho and Koi Yahan Nache Nache, which look at the songs he's done, like Chalte Chalte and Dil Mein Ho Tum. Then what about Mana Ho Tum by Dr. K.J. Yesudas? I mean, some of his songs are just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I really feel that he was made a lot of, everybody loved him, and because he brought happiness wherever he went, and so much pure. He was really such a simple human being, so simple, my God, so simple. I really feel that, people didn't really take him that seriously. That hurt me, it used to hurt me. And I always said, there's no, he's truly the person who brought this trend, real trailblazer, real trendsetter. And I thank you, God, for giving
Absolutely.
us Bappi
In fact,
Lahiri.
Usha ji, while you were talking about his song Koi Yahan Nache Nache, you also wanted to sing it because these are happy songs that Bappi Da has produced. I mean, all his songs, whether it is Chalte Chalte or also Koi Yahan Nache Nache, this is the kind of range that we are talking about over here. And it's unmatchable. This is a legacy which cannot be matched. And it's very unfortunate, like you said, that he was not really taken very seriously. But when you used to work with him, what was the mood like, in that composing studio? How did he like composing his songs? Because you're the best person to take us through with that.
Yes, absolutely. He wasn't in the composing studio. He had, I used to go to his home, and we used to rehearse there. And he would say, he would always say, just give me the outline of the song and then say, okay, you do what you have to do with it, okay? And just make it a hit. And he would always say, yahan pe aise karte hain, aise karte hain. And, he would make it a point to tell me that, this particular song of yours, in English, he would say, had this kind of energy. I want that kind of energy to come across. I mean, what can I say? Really, he's such a simple human being. And then after doing all the rehearsals there, when we get to the studio, I would always be on time. I'm always, in fact, before time. I remember going to Mehboob's studio, and the studio was just being opened, and the sweepers would be sweeping over there, and I would have walked in. And then when he came in, it was his persona. His persona was so amazing. And then when I would set, and I said, look, I don't want to do it in this particular way. He said, just do it your way. Just do it the way you want to do it. And hello, are you listening to me? And he would say,
Yes, please go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, and he would always say, Usha ji, aap gaiye na, jaise gaana hai, aap gaiye na. Ga dijiye. And he was such a foodie. And he would say, he would always, when he walked in, it was maybe 1 hour or something before lunch. And he was ready when we had the lunch break. This huge, larger-than-life tiffin carrier box came from his house, which was beautifully cooked by his wife. And I can't even believe it, actually. It's too much. And then he would open it up and, he would...
Ma'am, we are also here to celebrate Bappi Lahiri because this is the music that he has left behind. This is the legacy that he has left behind. And obviously the legacy will be carried forward through singers like yourself. One song that you'd always associate Bappi Da with, if you can hum a few lines for us also, ma'am.
Well, it's so difficult to sing now, but as I always say, a song is a song is a song, and a song is always bigger than the singer. Really, his songs will live on forever, no matter who sings it, and that's for sure. But as he always said, hum log ki antod jodi hai. And it's true, we were really quite an inseparable or incomparable jodi, because everything that we did, yeah. So I would definitely say to everybody, like he made me bring happiness, with his songs, and he brought happiness he gave me all those songs. So I would definitely say, koi yahan hai nach nache, koi wahan hai nach nache, sare hasiyan hai nach nache. I really wish Bappi Da could nache nache, aua aua, tumse hai tumse pyar.
Thank you so much, Usha. Thank you so much. And I'm really sorry for your loss, Usha Utap, there. And talking about Bappi Lahiri, remembering Bappi Lahiri, remember she's worked extensively with Bappi Da, given us songs like Koi Yahan Nache Nache. That's something which was a chart-buster number. Also, if I would like to actually take this opportunity and also talk about the other songs that Bappi Lahiri has actually brought out from his stable, produced, composed and sung himself. In fact, if I must say, portions of Lahiri's song Thoda Resham Lagta Hai, you all know it for the kind of remixes that it has been used on. These were included in the 2002 song Addictive by the American R&B singer Truth Hurts. So that is the kind of range and that is the kind of impact pan-world, in fact across the globe, that he had as far as the singing fraternity is concerned. He has given us a lot of popular songs. In fact, he is the one who popularized the use of synthesized disco music in the country. He's known as the undisputed disco king. He has sung most of his compositions also. Those were absolutely loved. Whether it is songs like Chalte Chalte or it is a song like Disco Dancer, that is the kind of range that we are talking about here. In fact, he had a string of musical blockbusters right from the 80s to the 90s. There were films where blockbuster songs were associated to Bappi Da. Films like Disco Dancer, Namak Halal, Sailab, Sharaabi, the Amitabh Bachchan starrer. In fact, like we've been telling you, he learned to play the tabla at the age of just 3. He was initially trained by his parents, who were both artists, and he in fact received his first opportunity to score music in a Bengali film, Dadu, and that was the year 1972 that we are talking about, and after which he got his first Hindi film for which he composed music, and that film was Nanha Shikari, and that was the year 1973. So from 1972, he has been enthralling us with the kind of music that we've always associated with Bappi Lahiri, and we'll continue to celebrate the music that he leaves behind, the legacy that he leaves behind. Continuing to track all the developments with this particular story, continuing to actually talk to singers and the entire fraternity who is condoling his death and who is mourning the loss of an icon as far as the music industry and the film industry is concerned. We'll continue to bring you all the developments and continue to celebrate the legacy of Bappi Lahiri. Slipping into a very short break and coming right back.